So today we're going to be planting trees. I have a wide variety, so I have our ponderosa pine, some red cedar, some giant sequoia. These ones are Colorado blue spruce, and these ones are sugar maple. I also have a couple others that aren't here soaking in water. We'll talk a little bit about the process of planting trees. Depending on the type of seed, they need different things that need to happen to them so that they will actually germinate. The first is scarification, which you need to do with any of the seeds that have a harder seed coat, and then stratification, which is essentially going through either a cold or a warm cycle. For all of mine, they had to go through a cold cycle. So all of these seeds have been in the fridge for the past couple months. They shouldn't all have the same equal amount of cold time. Some require only 30 days, some require as much as 120. However, we're at that point that we need to plant the seeds now if I'm going to plant the little seedlings up at the property at the right time of year so that they have enough water to survive up there. So we're going to see what we get, and we'll see what kind of germination rate we get out of these seeds. In general, I have about 100 seeds of each type. Not all of them are actually going to sprout and be viable seedlings. Some of these seeds, like I have a Dawn redwood in here that has a germination rate of 30 to 40%. That's what I'm expecting from these seeds. Others have a much higher germination rate, and depending on how you treat them and if they've had the proper amounts of time, of cold time, and have been scarified properly, they can have a higher germination rate. As you can see, I have seeds soaking in water. This is one method of scarification. Essentially, you soak that hard seed coat, and it gets, when it softens up, it allows moisture into the actual seed itself that starts that germination process. Sometimes you need to do this before it goes into its stratification stage or being put into the fridge or outside. Most of these seeds will do this naturally, obviously, where they get moisture in the fall and then go through that winter stage where they have these cold temps and they germinate naturally in the spring. Others have a harder time of it, and the harder the coat, the more moisture or actual abrasion you need. So I have a piece of sandpaper over here as well that I'll do some actual physical scarification on some of the maple seeds that I have to show you that method as well. Talking about maple seeds a little bit, there are different varieties of maples. The silver maples and red maples don't necessarily need to go through any stratification process, meaning they do not need to go through a winter before they germinate. They oftentimes will drop their seeds in late summer or early winter, and they'll start germinating right away and start growing in the soil naturally and already be a seedling when they start again in spring. For others, the harder maples are like the sugar maples or the mountain maples, vine maples. They have to go through that stratification process. All of them have to go through a scarification process. So with the scarification process, kind of showed some of my maple seeds soaking. This is the normal method, but with some of the mountain maples and sometimes the sugar maples, it's such a hard coat that it's not enough, and they need to have a little bit more actual abrasion. With the maple seed, the wing comes off of one side of the seed, and you want to go to the opposite end of where the wing is to take that outer seed coat off until you see that inner layer just a little bit, and that allows the moisture to reach that layer and it start germinating. So I'm going to take it here. I'm sure you're going to be able to see this. My big finger's in the way. I'll take it. Just rub out that outer coat. Keep checking it until I see just the bit in, and that's it.
So you just show that outer layer just a little bit so you get in, and that should be enough. And so I have 25 of these to do for this, and we'll see which ones germinate better, the ones that I've physically scarified or the ones that have just been soaking in the water. I'm going to purposely go too far in a couple, just so you can see it. Because the reality is, I've never actually done this. Looking at the seed, you can see that there's that inner layer that just barely rubbed off. This one might be just a touch too far. So you can see that there's a slight difference there. You can almost see that there's multiple layers. But the whole idea is to just get through that outer shell. And yeah, we'll see if I'm any good at using this method or not, and we'll see which one performs better. So I bought my seeds from whatcomseedco.com, and they send some great instructions about, for each variety of seed you buy, of what's the proper method for planting. And they're all a little bit different. For example, you'll notice I don't have any of the Dawn redwood seeds soaking right now. Yet the Dawn redwood and the giant sequoias, they say, hey, you don't really need to have any sort of scarification process. I've know enough about them that I know that it might be able to help. So I've actually soaked some of my giant sequoias just to see what the difference is from a germination rate. Some of them have to be planted at a depth. Some of them the seeds will not germinate if they have any soil over top of them. So they just need to be placed on the top of the soil. So each of them has a slightly different method, and we'll try and explain those as we go through. I actually even have a few strawberries. I have some alpine strawberries that I plan on planting up at our property, and I also threw in some yellow strawberries that we're going to plant here at home in our garden. There are also some that you typically would not cover. You plant them on the surface and keep them well covered and contained, so it has that greenhouse effect and keeps them generally moist, and see what germination rate you get out of them. For the Whatcom Seedco, I'll put the link below, so if any of you want to check them out, we'll see how they do. I've never used them before, but they seem to have great instructions as they came to me, and they seem to be a pretty good quality seed.
Thanks for watching. If you would like to learn more, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe.